I walked into my home studio and found my brother Jake using a sledgehammer to smash my $15,000 mixing board. My sister Emma was filming, holding up her phone. "This is what happens when you're selfish and won't share your success with family," she announced to her camera. Sweat dripping and hammer raised, Jake turned around. "Maybe now you'll learn to help us out." What they didn't know was that with one call, every contact in my phone could end their careers. I'm Violet, and I'm 34 years old. From nothing, I've built myself over the past 15 years into one of the most respected music producers in the industry. In a basement with second-hand equipment is where I started, working 80-hour weeks, learning every aspect of music production and sound engineering. My home studio isn't just a hobby space. It's a $120,000 professional facility where I've produced chart-topping albums for Grammy-winning artists. With major record labels I work, and my client list reads like a Billboard Top 40. Through pure hard work, I've earned every piece of equipment, every industry connection, every ounce of respect. But to my family, I'm just playing with computers and calling it music. They see my success as something that happened to me, not something I built. And they've decided that since we share DNA, my achievements should automatically become their opportunities. The family ATM is what I am, who's expected to fund everyone's lifestyle while getting zero acknowledgement for the work behind my success. They dismiss what I do as sound stuff, while demanding I use my connections to make them rich and famous. If you've ever had family members who think your success belongs to them, hit that subscribe button. Have you ever worked hard for something just to have family members act like they're entitled to it? I was driving home from the best recording session of my career. Tracks for an artist guaranteed to get Grammy nominations were what I'd just finished producing, and my phone was buzzing with congratulations from industry executives. I was practically floating on air, but when I pulled into my driveway, something felt wrong. Hanging open was my front door, and from my garage studio I could hear crashing sounds. Toward the noise I ran and found a scene that still gives me nightmares. Standing in the middle of my professional recording space was my brother Jake, sledgehammer in hand, surrounded by the wreckage of equipment I'd spent years acquiring. Like broken dreams, pieces of my custom mixing board were scattered across the floor. "Finally home from your little hobby," Jake called out without even looking up. "We need to have a family meeting about sharing the wealth." That's when I noticed my sister Emma in the corner, phone held high, live streaming the destruction to her followers. "You've been hoarding opportunities while we struggle," Emma said directly to her camera. "Time to give back to the people who supported you." To stop him from destroying more equipment, I lunged forward, but Jake stepped toward me aggressively. "Don't even think about it." Emma kept filming, narrating like some twisted sports commentator. "Look how selfish she is, protecting her toys instead of helping family." His problems are what Jake started listing, like I owed him solutions. His construction business had failed. He had unpaid loans. He needed me to invest in his comeback. Demanding I use my industry connections to make her an influencer, Emma jumped in. "Fame is what she deserved," she claimed. "You think you're better than us because you play with computers and call it music?" Emma sneered, still recording. "We raised you, supported your dreams," Jake added. "Now it's payback time." When I pulled out my phone to call the police, Jake shoved me hard. Into my damaged equipment I crashed, pain shooting through my ribs. Emma actually laughed while filming. "This is going viral." Entitled sister refuses to help struggling family. The sledgehammer again, Jake raised. "Here's the deal. $50,000 cash plus you get Emma meetings with record labels, or I keep swinging until there's nothing left." I stared at them both, realizing my own siblings had just declared war on everything I'd built. Over the next few days, I discovered this wasn't some impulsive outburst. For weeks, they'd been planning this assault. A detailed spreadsheet listing my equipment values and researching my industry contacts was shown to me by Emma. Their homework they had done. Type demands were presented to me by Jake like some kind of business proposal. $50,000 immediate payment. Guaranteed meetings with record label executives for Emma's music career. Plus, I had to hire his construction crew for a studio expansion I'd never planned. "I've already told my guys you're bringing them on for a big project," Jake said with a smug grin. "Don't make me look like a liar." But things got worse when Emma posted her edited footage online. Clips she'd cut together to make me look like a heartless sister who'd abandoned her struggling family. Her followers ate it up. "Family greed at its worst," read one comment. "Imagine being too selfish to help your own siblings." Within hours, Emma's army of followers had found my professional social media accounts. My business pages they flooded with accusations about my character, calling me greedy and heartless. Potential clients started questioning whether they wanted to work with someone who treats family badly. Jake escalated by bringing his construction crew to my house. 5 guys in hard hats showed up at my door, claiming I'd promised them work contracts. "Violet owes us jobs," one of them said. "Jake told us she's got big projects coming up." I realized Jake had been using my name to make promises I'd never agreed to. These men expected payment for work that didn't exist. The final blow came when I returned home one evening to find they'd changed my locks. "Family intervention," Emma announced through the door. "Until you start sharing properly, we're protecting you from making more selfish decisions." They were holding my own house hostage. Daily, Jake continued destroying equipment, claiming it was motivation for my compliance. Each session Emma livestreamed, building her follower count on my trauma. The comments cheered her on. "Make her pay for being selfish. Family comes first always. She deserves this for hoarding success." But I wasn't just sitting there taking it. Everything I started documenting. Every threat, every piece of destroyed equipment, every fraudulent claim they made using my name. Conversations I recorded on my phone and took photos of the damage. That's when I reached out to my cousin David, the black sheep of our extended family who'd been cut off years ago for refusing to enable everyone else's dysfunction. He understood exactly what I was dealing with. "They did the same thing to me," David said when I showed him the evidence. "Demanded money, destroyed my property when I refused, turned the family against me." David helped me safely retrieve my backup drives and most important files while Jake and Emma were out. We discovered they'd been using my name to scam potential clients, promising recording services I'd never agreed to provide. "You need to fight back," David said. "These people only understand consequences." I was starting to realize he was right. At David's apartment I spent those nights, supposedly licking my wounds and figuring out how to meet Jake and Emma's demands, but I wasn't planning surrender. A war chest is what I was building. While they thought I was broken and desperate, I was systematically documenting every piece of evidence. Screenshots of Emma's harassment posts, photos of destroyed equipment with timestamps, audio recordings of Jake's threats and demands. What they didn't know was that I had direct phone numbers for executives at every major record label and streaming platform in the country. Technical skills weren't the only thing 15 years in this industry had given me. Relationships with people who could make or break careers with a single phone call are what I'd built. My judgment Grammy-winning artists trusted completely. My recommendations label presidents valued. That I only vouched for trustworthy people was known by platform executives. My client list wasn't just musicians. Journalists who covered industry scandals are who I'd worked with. Lawyers who specialized in entertainment fraud, even executives at construction licensing boards who regulated Jake's industry. Perfectly captured by my hidden studio security cameras had been the assault and destruction. Jake shoving me, Emma laughing while filming my pain. Both of them threatening my livelihood. In high definition, it was all recorded. Like a who's who of people with the power to destroy careers and reputations, my phone contacts read. People who trusted me enough to act on my word alone. David helped me organize everything into a comprehensive evidence portfolio, while I maintained the appearance of defeat around my siblings. A pushover who'd built her success through luck is what they thought they were extorting. They had no idea they just declared war on someone with the power to end careers. Sometimes the quietest people have the loudest connections. My strategic planning partner became David, helping me coordinate evidence collection while my siblings celebrated their apparent victory. Family secrets that could expose years of their manipulative behavior patterns are what he knew. "They've done this before," David explained. "Remember when they pressured Uncle Robert into co-signing Jake's business loan? Or when Emma convinced Grandma to pay for her modeling portfolio that never existed?" Meanwhile, Jake and Emma grew increasingly arrogant. Beyond money and connections, their demands expanded. Now they wanted me to buy them houses, cars, and fund Emma's entire lifestyle as a full-time influencer. Construction services online. Jake started advertising using photos of my destroyed studio, claiming he'd renovated recording spaces for industry professionals. Potential clients were calling him based on work he'd never done. Completely, Emma quit her retail job, expecting my music industry connections to make her famous immediately. Her acceptance speech for awards she'd never win for talents she didn't possess, she was already planning. "You can do this the easy way or the hard way," Jake threatened during one of his daily visits to intimidate me. "But you're going to pay what you owe us." Fake social media posts Emma created showing her collaborating with major artists using photos from my actual studio sessions. Her entire online presence, she was building on lies about my career. For the following weekend, they scheduled a family intervention, inviting aunts, uncles, and cousins to witness my public surrender. In front of everyone who mattered to us, they planned to shame me into complete compliance. "Once the whole family sees how selfish you've been," Emma said smugly, "you'll have to choose between paying up or being cut off from everyone forever." David helped me prepare while maintaining my defeated appearance. Surveillance footage we organized, documented financial fraud, and compiled testimonials from industry professionals who'd witnessed their harassment. "They think they're about to win everything," David said as we reviewed our evidence portfolio. "They have no idea what's coming." The intervention was exactly what I needed, a room full of witnesses for their complete destruction. Have you ever reached the point where you realize someone had pushed you too far to ever forgive? In my parents' living room, the family intervention was held, packed with aunts, uncles, and cousins who'd been fed Jake and Emma's version of events. Carrying what appeared to be signed contracts and bank transfer paperwork, I walked in, looking defeated and ready to surrender. "Thank God she's finally being reasonable," my mother whispered to my aunt. Like some kind of family patriarch, Jake stood up. "Violet has agreed to meet our very fair demands. She's going to help family the way family should help each other." Emma was already live streaming, announcing to her followers that her selfish sister was about to make things right. That's when I sat down my papers and smiled. "You want to know about family loyalty?" I said, pulling out my laptop. "Let me show you what real consequences look like." On the security footage from my studio, I clicked play. The room fell silent as they watched Jake destroying my equipment with a sledgehammer, while Emma filmed and laughed. Every threat, every demand, every moment of violence was captured by the audio. "You can't prove anything," Jake stammered. "This is family business." "Actually, I can prove everything," I replied calmly. "And I already have." My phone I opened and showed them the confirmation emails. "Jake, your construction license is under investigation for fraudulent advertising using my credentials. The licensing board received a detailed report yesterday." White Jake's face went. "Emma, your social media accounts are being reviewed for coordinated harassment and fraud. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have all received comprehensive evidence packages about your harassment campaigns and fake collaboration posts." Immediately, Emma stopped live streaming, panic spreading across her face. At the security footage, the extended family was staring, realizing they'd been manipulated by complete lies about my selfishness. "But that's not all," I continued. Another folder on my laptop I opened. "David, would you like to share what you know about their financial history?" David stood up with his own evidence portfolio. "Jake has defrauded 3 previous business partners. Emma has run scams on dating apps and crowdfunding sites. They've been exploiting family members for years." The construction licensing board was very interested in Jake's pattern of fraudulent business practices, I announced. "And social media platforms take harassment and impersonation very seriously. This is ridiculous. We're family," Jake tried to interrupt. "You destroyed my studio thinking I was helpless." I cut him off. "Now watch me destroy everything you built on lies." Frantically, Emma was trying to delete her social media posts, but screenshots of everything were already submitted to platform review teams. The best part? I smiled. "Every industry contact I have now knows exactly who you both are." Within 2 weeks, Jake's construction license was permanently revoked for fraudulent business practices. A pattern of using false credentials and misrepresenting client relationships that went back years was found by the licensing board. Permanent bans from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook for coordinated harassment and impersonation were received by Emma. Overnight, her influencer dreams died when she lost access to every major platform. From any music or entertainment opportunities, my industry connections ensured both siblings were blacklisted. In tight-knit industries, word spreads fast, and everyone now knew exactly what kind of people they were dealing with. Profusely, the extended family apologized once they understood how deeply they'd been manipulated. By what they'd witnessed on the security footage, my parents were mortified. In a new location, far from toxic family access, David helped me rebuild my studio. My career flourished as industry professionals respected how I'd handled the situation professionally and decisively. Complete financial ruin was faced by Jake and Emma as their scam-based income sources disappeared permanently. In their respective fields, their reputations were destroyed. Strict boundaries I established. Zero contact with my siblings, limited supervised contact with other family members who'd enabled their behavior. For weakness, some people mistake kindness until they discover that quiet people often have the loudest connections. Sometimes the best way to handle bullies is to let their own actions destroy them. If you've ever dealt with family members who thought they could exploit your success, smash that subscribe button for more stories about people who fought back against toxic relatives. Drop a comment telling me about a time someone completely underestimated your connections or abilities. And hit that like button to support creators sharing real empowerment stories.